Good morning and welcome to live streaming coverage from the 2013 Cactus Pheasant Classic here in Brooks, Alberta. My name's Jerry Gertz of curlingzone.com, joined by Peter Stetsky. Welcome, Peter.
Good morning, Jer.
We've got a great game here between the really well-known Kevin Martin team and probably an unknown Brady Clark team to many here this weekend. But strong foursome, and they've posted some good results on tour this year.
Yeah, I talked to Brady before the game, doing a little research. This is their 7th event on the World Curling Tour this year. They've qualified in 4 out of the 6 so far. And, if they win this game, they're 1 game away from qualifying. They're last year's representative for U.S. at the World Championships, where they went 5-6. And they've already qualified for the U.S. Olympic Trials, which will be held in 2 weeks in Fargo.
Team was runners-up in Vernon at the Prestige Inns Classic, beginning of October. Reached the quarterfinals last weekend in Kamloops.
Yeah, they've had some great results so far on tour this year. The main goal for the team is to obviously try to qualify for the Olympic Games in Russia. There's some big competition there. Schuster's having a great year this year, Jerry. He had a nice run in Portage, losing to Glenn Howard and to Jeff Stout to be eliminated from the Bonspiel, but there's no shame in the losing to arguably 2 of the top 5 teams in the world.
Yeah, all his qualifying game losses were against top-level teams, but when you look at that field that was in Portage, it was certainly 10 of the top 12 teams in the world were there, so I think there was nothing less to expect games like that.
No, absolutely. It's similar to the field we have here. They're doing a great job here at the Cactus Pheasant Classic in Brooks. If you're in the area, come on down. Great hospitality, great people here. A favorite penny up at the bar, great food, and it's been a world-class event. Like I've been told, this is, I believe, the 7th annual, and all the curlers rave about it. They say it's the best run event on the World Curling Tour.
So into our game here, hammer belongs to
Kevin Martin.
Kevin Martin here.
It's good.
Glad one of us is paying attention.
They're looking for Mark to play his intern, being left-handed. He's going to try the intern run through. Doesn't look like he's throwing it too hard. Maybe looking to keep his shooter in play.
Yep. Hard. Nice shot. Beauty, Mark.
Nice little roll for a corner guard. Nice setup right now for the Martin rink, having 2 corners, and draw to the 4-foot is fairly accessible.
It's Phil Tilker throwing second stones for Team Clark. Tilker is another former Canadian, moved to the U.S. about 8-9 years ago. Came from our neck of the woods in Ontario. Played Phil a few times, curled with Muybrook.
Oh, really?
Out of the Guelph area.
Yeah, I used to play against Ron in juniors.
And Phil can talk. Anybody who knows Phil, he just never stops.
I know a guy like that. Intern come around here for Mark Kennedy. Clark was successful in removing the one corner guard of Kevin, but they rolled their shooter out of play, so Kevin's going to take the opportunity to get aggressive here and try to score his 2.
Room, off if you can.
A lot of people were wondering, Jerry, how the Martin rink
Right to the back if you
would
can get
come
it here,
together
Dave.
with a brand new third stone, David Nedawin. Really no stranger
right to the
to any
back, right to
curling
the back,
fan
right
for
to the
all
back.
his success winning
Back
prior
12,
championships
back 12.
with Randy
Keep her going.
Furby, Scott Pfeiffer, and the new Chinese coach,
Marcel Rock.
Marcel Rock, coaching Team China now. Shout out to Marcel.
Yeah, he's certainly got the Chinese program rocking and rolling on the women's side especially.
Didn't curl. No.
Yeah, you know what? That team, Wang had won the world championship and then sort of went on a bit of decline, but this year the results on tour have been outstanding.
Yep.
Out-turn freeze here. Mark will be a little disappointed that his rock slid so deep there. Would have liked to have that in front of the tee line. No harm in removing the yellow one there. They'll be happy with that shot. But yeah, getting back, Team Martin is actually leading the World Curling Tour, I believe, with $29,900 won this year. They've won 2 of the events they've played in and lost the final of Saskatoon to Jeff Stoughton's team. So it doesn't look like it's taken them too long to gel. David is just a phenomenal touch player. Anything soft, he has to be right up there in the top handful of people in the world.
Hard! Hard!
It doesn't hurt having those two rushing.
Hard! No roll, no roll, no roll. Great shot, Dave. Beauty.
Good shot right out of the gate for Dave, putting his touch on display. Well swept by the boys. I was talking to Kevin about his back. For those of you who don't know, Kevin actually had to sit out the final of Saskatoon. He severely hurt his back. I'm not sure whether it's a sprained disc or something like that, but it required a ton of treatment. I asked him how it's coming along, and he claims he's just old. But he's been doing a lot of physio, a lot of stretching, and it appears to be better and better every week. He said it's easier if they're playing in an arena or a warmer building than most curling clubs are a little colder. He says it can tend to tighten up in the cold air. So he's looking forward to some arena curling.
Yeah, next week in Abbotsford, British Columbia, the Masters of Curling Grand Slam event will be taking place.
Yeah, it's a very unique format. They've invited the
Here, Dave.
6 men's and 6 ladies teams from Canada that have already qualified for the Olympic trials, and then they've invited 10 international teams, most of which that will be in the Olympics in Russia for a very unique international event.
Oh.
A lot of the teams,
Yep.
hopefully if they make the finals tomorrow here in Brooks, will have about 1 or 2 days to get home and do their laundry, and then they'll be heading out to BC for Tuesday night.
Oh, it's good, it's good, it's good. Yep. Go, 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 go. Keep her going.
Great shot there by Dave again.
Really nice.
Just sneaking that red one past his back, yellow to lie 2.
Nice shot.
Brady, Jerry, I got to watch a little bit of the World Championships last year. He was a one-man wrecking crew. He several games he curled in the lower mid-90s. I had never seen him play before, but he's certainly a shot maker.
Yeah, the more I see of Brady, the more I think he may be, the kind of player that if you ever put together a squad in the U.S., if you ever did that team selection, I think Brady would be my top choice to throw the last stones.
Yeah, he would definitely be in that conversation.
Weight was
Brady's won 9 U.S. mixed championships.
You can see enough.
And
to
while
make a double.
you can say all you want about it being
If he makes
mixed
a double, I think
curling,
he has to go across the top.
he's thrown the last rock and made the big shot to win the title 9 times. That takes having the right things going on between the ears.
Yeah, at the end of the day, whether it be mixed, men's, ladies, juniors, it's a national championship. You're playing at a very elite level, and you have to make shots in order to win those things. And part of making shots is being able to control your emotions and what goes on inside your head. And he's obviously a lot better at doing that than I ever was.
Get on the red one. Yep.
David working very hard to try to get this out. Very important if he could lie shot rock.
Well swept.
Spun back in. Nice shot by Brady. Very important for him to stay in the rings, or Kevin would have whipped one around that corner guard and tried to score 3.
Bad. Yeah.
These
Didn't curl that much.
shots are normally fairly routine for a man of Kevin Martin's superior ability, but in the first end, probably a little bit of a feeler. Wants to make sure he's got the broom in the right spot, and at this stage of the game, there's probably a little bit of guesswork involved.
Yep. Oh, guys, off. Should curl though.
Kevin tuned into the broadcast last night, Jerry. He loved the Larry long slide.
I fell back a bit. No.
He promised us he's going to try to stretch a few of his slides out today. He can't quite get down there as far as Robbie.
Wow.
Unfortunate for Kevin there. Looks like he actually ran into a little piece of negative ice there.
A little gravity there, I guess.
Didn't fall, but it looked like it was curling nice, and then it just stopped curling.
Cut a ridge or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here's
man.
the explanation there by Dave. He just felt
the
rock stop curling and straightened out, and unfortunately for them, they rolled out.
I didn't like taking much less.
No. Take off. No, I didn't.
Brady has an opportunity to get out of this end, maybe force Kevin to one if he can hit and stay in the rings here.
Darn it.
Kevin, a veteran, using the word darn it as opposed to swearing. Thank you, Kevin.
He's by.
Front entry USA working hard on this one, just sneaking by the guard. Very good shot there by Brady, and it looks like Kevin's going to have to throw the out-turn draw for one. Mission accomplished. Very happy with that end if you're Brady Clark.
It would be normal speed down here? Okay.
Last stone of the first end. Martin with the hammer, drawn for a single point.
Clean, clean, clean. Yep. How's the weight? How's the weight? T-line? Okay. Clean, that's good. Line's good. Line's good.
And it settles into the 8-foot. 1 point for Martin here in the first end, takes an early 1-0 lead. We're streaming from the 2013 Cactus Pheasant Classic from Brooks, Alberta. My name's Jerry Gertz.
Okay.
Joined by Pete Stetsky. I'd like to thank some of our sponsors.
Yeah, Jerry, we have the obviously the title sponsor, Cactus Pheasant Classic, but we have platinum sponsors, the Heritage Inn Hotel and Convention Center, where we're both staying. Gold sponsor, Cactus Communications, as well as Alberta's Centennial City and Brooks Home Furnishings. Silver sponsors, ATB, Aztec Security, Badger Daylighting, BRK Rentals, Cactus AVU, Evergreen Implements, Latigo Trucking, Logan Industries, North End Liquor, Orion LLP, Q105/The One, Ross Now Trucking, Smith Trucking, Tim Hortons, and UFA. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Without your massive support, we would never be able to put on an event of this magnitude, one of the biggest bond spiels in the world, and thank you to everyone. Also like to give a shout out to Lawrence.
That thing really kind of ran a little
Lawrence
weird.
wears about 17 or 18 hats in this bond spiel. He gets his hand in just about everything. He's doing a great job, and he has for 7 years.
Just got a different way, kind of had a different way of getting there.
He's always willing to listen to player feedback, which is very important, and he's done a great job. Ice maker Roy. Roy's been working very hard. Long days for Roy. There's some 8 a.m. draws all the way up to guys getting off the ice at 10 o'clock at night. So Roy Grossfield's done a great job with his ice crew here. Kevin went with the center guard instead of electing to draw around that guard. Brady tried to throw the corner guard up. I believe he would have liked a little more curl, got that one out closer to the wing. Kevin's obviously going to ignore it and try to beat Brady into the rings.
Line's good. Line's good.
I'd like to thank Paul Webster.
4 foot.
Paul did an excellent job for those who've been tuning in the last 2 days on our broadcast. He had to go home to spend some quality time with his family. He's going to be on the road quite a bit coming up. But Paul, thank you very much.
Nice shooting, Benny. Real good.
Great shot there by Ben. Out-turn draw to bite the lid. Fully buried. Probably the biggest advantage in this game, I would say, for Team Martin is that front end, and that's probably the case in almost every game they play. Mark and Ben, generally considered to be the best front end in the world, or obviously Craig Saville and Brent Lang are in that discussion. Longtime front end of Team Glenn Howard. So many great players out there. You look, Jerry, now at the makeup of most teams, and the second and third spots are generally filled by two people that are perfectly capable of playing third. Like you get Reed Carruthers, actually a former skip, playing second for Jeff Stoughton. And they have former third gold medal winner Mark Nichols throwing lead stone, so they're packed with back-end players. Kennedy would fit in on any team, as would Carter Rycroft, both second stones, but they could play back end for sure. Just shows you how deep and talented you need to be to compete at this level.
Yeah, it's going to over-curl if anything. Clean.
Like to say to our hi to our 8 qualifier, Mike McEwen, back in the hotel room there, Mike. Hope things are tightening up for you a little bit. I know you were running around, so to speak, earlier when we spoke, but hopefully you're on the mend, and congrats on qualifying A. They're a great team looking to make their 9th consecutive Bonspiel final, I believe. Nice double peel there by Darren Lado. Hopefully I pronounced that properly. Kevin's going to go back up and throw the center guard, try to protect Ben's rock there that's biting the button.
Looks like that's Greg Persinger out there. They're playing second this weekend.
Okay, yeah, we just had Darren's actually throwing the lead stones. Very nice double peel.
Sorry, Darren's not here. That's what I was trying to say.
And yet we have him up on our screen. Jerry, you're killing me, buddy. You're killing me.
Greg Persinger, I believe from Fairbanks, Alaska, is Team Clark's 5th player. I believe that's Greg. I'm not 100% sure, though. I know it's not Darren.
Whoa, it's good. It's good. It'll finish.
Nice shot there by Mark.
Nice shoot.
Perfectly placed guard. Benny's looking pretty chipper out there this morning, all smiles. It's good to see a lot of the players out last night in the patch, having some fun, supporting the Bonspiel.
Every time he steps, just leaves a big white mark.
Brady asking Phil, is this actually Phil, Jer, to throw the out-turn run through.
Yeah, this will be Phil Tilker.
Just hit it a hair high, but he did get a shooter out of the way. It's a good shot. Kevin will go up and replace it. Not a bad situation here for Clark. He does have multiple stones that he could run into that rock that are his own. Kevin's going to try to get a guard back in place there, have David throw the same shot that Mark just did. David's got a very unique style of throwing, but certainly you can't argue with the results. One of the all-time shot makers in the game.
Okay, we'll let her die. It's fine.
He's done a good job guarding the stone. Probably slid 4 or 5 feet further than what Team Martin wanted. Brady will now ask for a run through, try to kill both yellow stones, and if he does, then he'll be an excellent setup because he'll be left with 2 corner guards and 4 foot wide open. Doing a little more subtle broadcast this morning, partially at the request of Lawrence, partially because I'm still sleeping off the damage they did to me in the patch last night.
Still trying to get going again. A little visit to the Brooks Hotel after the Cactus patch.
I'd like to take in all of the local atmosphere, Jerry. I saw you there last night. Very good time. Excellent time in the patch last night. What was that band called again?
Opening act was Giggle Stick. and the second band was Smoke Pack.
Yeah, very good job last night if you're listening.
Line's good. Whoa, whoa.
Dance floor was packed.
This one might need to curl. Clean, clean, clean.
Yeah, it's really cool what they do here with the patch.
Clean.
It's
It might overcurl.
It's almost like a slam feel out here. You know, you get the best teams in the world here. The
Shot,
all
Dave,
the
real good.
fans, upper deck, lower deck in the club, and of course the patch is running over in the gymnasium across the way.
Yeah, and you don't have to go outside for any of it. It's all within the same complex.
Is that enough ice
We've
for
had
me?
a few visits to Subway down there for lunch, and the food they prepare at the club is excellent.
Yeah, typically that's a good thing, not needing to go outside with the weather at this time of year. It could be pretty cold.
think
You
so.
know, there have been years it'll snow in November and in November, October. I remember last season the snow came pretty early. So
Thank God it wasn't too cold last night because we had trouble finding a cab, so we probably took a good 45-minute walk home.
the weather's been absolutely beautiful here this
Yeah,
week.
it's been gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. If I was more ambitious, I would have walked to the club this morning, but we were running a little late, so we'd like to thank our volunteer drivers for doing their work in the shuttle and getting us and the rest of the players here on time and safe. Kevin Martin now settling in, throwing out turn.
It's curling. Oh, line's pretty good. Clean. No, clean, clean. Yep. Clean, 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 clean. It's good.
Good shot there by Kevin. I mean, the slightest of over curls. Looks like Brady's going to try to make a play through the hole here. These are the most difficult
long.
shots we've seen so far this weekend. Regular draw weight has been fairly predictable, but when
It's a
you
little
have
too
to
long of a
up
guard.
it to sort of hack or board, the guys have been
A
getting
little tighter,
fooled
yeah.
a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see how Brady makes out here. Looks like he's taken
Kept it
probably a
straighter,
foot and a half
too.
to 2 feet of ice to play this shot, so I'd guess he's probably throwing somewhere in the ballpark
It
a
said
hack.
tight though.
Yeah, so they just mischarged.
Just misjudged the weight. Yeah. Yeah.
So then they were saying halfway, about 3/4 way down. It was too late to sweep then, and then we're just
Yeah. No, we had to go early if we're going to go on that at all.
Brady with an old school delivery there, lifting the rock up, a little bit of swing.
It'll curl.
I hear Kevin saying he thinks this rock will curl. Certainly needs to. It's hanging out a little bit right now. Trying to sneak past.
Oh, the little redirect.
Get on,
just
Dave.
Too much.
Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go.
Really nice weight there by Brady, though. He missed the shot. He was trying, obviously, but due to very nice weight control, he's left his rock in the ring. Still in a little bit of trouble here,
Same
though.
ice.
Kevin's just throwing this rock down this path, as every player on his team has in this end, actually, so they know exactly what it does. Kevin will look to apply a lot of pressure here by drawing another one into the rings and making Brady shoot against
Puppy.
2.
Well, it depends on the line. As long as we bury a bit. Yeah. Don't want to lock it right on it because then he makes an angle raise. He gets 2.
Good point there by Kevin. A lot of teams would freeze to their own, thinking it's better to be 2 rocks in the 4-foot, but then Kevin recognizes the fact that Brady, a guy of his ability, would have a good opportunity to run
Line's
in one
good.
of his red rocks and score 2 points.
Line's good. Yep. Yeah, go ahead. Oh. No room. No room. Room. Off mark. We're on the red one. Curl. Yep.
Doesn't
Sees that.
quite get it in for
Just didn't
second
curl.
shot, but it is a
Straight
guard.
rock.
Yeah,
Maybe?
it's
just a little further past.
probably a foot and a half to 2
That's the
feet short
improvement.
of what they wanted. They had to wait a long time on the line. Still a very effective shot by Kevin.
What this does do, though, is it gives Brady the run back here, the little angle run.
Yeah, he was always going to have that. That's why Kevin
I
was
thought that would
hoping
be
to lie
fine.
1-2, because he would have helped choke
Weight
it
was
off
good.
a little bit. And if Brady executed the shot, it would only be for a single.
A hair frost.
Yeah.
Just held it there for a second. too bad we didn't.
These are the type of shots Brady was making routinely at the World Championship last
Nothing
year
Swingers
to
can do about that
keep
one.
his team in games and win games. 5-6 record, very impressive. It was out in not in Victoria, but it was out in BC last year, the World Championships. Canadian representative Brad Jacobs losing the final to Nicholas Adine, who's in the bonspiel here.
Last stone of the second end. Brady trying to angle run back here for 2. Tricky shot.
Close.
Needs a little curl.
Close. Good throw, Skipper. That was close.
Steal of 1 for Team Martin here in the second end. Takes a 2-0 lead after 2 here at the Cactus Pheasant Classic from Brooks, Alberta.
Kevin sort of dodged a little bullet there. That was a really nice toss by Brady. Really good weight control as well. A lot of people tend to throw that one too hard. That was a really nice control weight. He just
Good
needed
throw.
to get a extra half inch of curl and he would have
Close.
scored 2.
Out of your hand, I thought the only way you'd miss it would be tight.
Yeah.
Just didn't move any. No. Neither did my hit over here.
No, that's true.
You know, it really ran straight. Yeah.
Getting started here in our third end, Kevin Martin versus Brady Clark. Kevin Martin currently up 2-0. Asking Ben Hebert to draw
Line's real good.
the top 4-foot out turn draw.
Might need to curl a little, but let's wait.
Nice weight there by Benny.
Good thing we didn't rub that. We would have had an open hit for 2 there.
Yeah,
It just rubbed it.
that could have rubbed. But we had to play that shot, and I couldn't take any different ice, so
No, of course not.
nothing you could do about it.
I just think maybe they hit it early too on that one. None of our guards were swept.
Right.
That one they hit early.
Straighten it
Might
up
have just straightened it up.
a little, a hair. Yeah. Oh, that's reasonable.
Nice corner guard thrown up there by Leadstone. For Team Clark, Kevin will now get Ben to throw this probably just short of the rings in the free guard zone, so Brady will not be able to remove it from play.
Line's good.
Ben is one of the calendar boys in the
Gonna need to
men
curl.
of curling,
Not in, not in.
featured in October.
Real tight.
All proceeds go to charity.
All right, let's see what happens.
Shot.
menofcurling.com, $20 to purchase a calendar. 12 elite
Play into it.
players from all
Back
over
line.
the world. Cover boy Mike McEwen. Selling like hotcakes. We've already sold out here at Brooks. They sold out last week in Portage.
Yep, gotta go then.
Tricky shot here. Looks like it's curling a little early.
Hard. Come on. Come on, hold that angle. Yep, hold that angle.
Yeah, it's a type of shot there that could get
All right, Greg.
Clark in a little bit of trouble. Greg over curled there, obviously. Kevin now lying 2, but more importantly, he's got a rock on the 4-foot already
long
buried,
guard.
and he's throwing a long guard to double guard the rock. And instead of being able to go on the offensive here, it looks like Brady might have to start throwing some double peels and try to clean things up. Speaking of cleaning things up, we're trying to run a tighter broadcast today. Now that we've gotten rid of Paul, that shouldn't be too difficult.
Long guard. Long guard. Right here. Just go. As long as it's over. Good shot. Good.
Nice guard there by Mark. As we said, now Brady's asking a second to go up and hopefully make a double peel.
Close. Well, your side, Baton. Your side. Thanks, Kip.
Didn't quite get the double peel there. They're starting to dig a little bit of a hole for themselves here. Already down 2-0. You can't afford to get too far behind Team Martin, one of the best front runners in the history of curling.
This will be nice and keen.
Oh, that's good. Mark Kennedy, second stone for Kevin Martin, now being asked to throw the out-turn guard.
Yep.
Mark is right up there in a short list of curlers with Scott Pfeiffer and Rich Hart as the best left-handed
As
players
long as
of
it's
all
over,
time.
it's good. As long as it's over. Nice shot, Mark. Both sides are real fast. So.
A lot of trouble now for Brady. Just a little mistake by his lead stone led to this, and haven't been able to make that double peel to get out of trouble yet.
See a nice little double run there. Not it.
Yeah, you can do a double run here, Jer, and leave your own red one in the rings. Maybe
Yeah.
even get a little lucky, get buried. All of a sudden,
Well, but then
you're
gonna
scoring
need a
2.
rock.
If Phil makes a shot like that, you'll never hear the end of it.
Well. Yep. Yep.
No.
Hard. Whoa.
There it is.
And the double. What a beauty.
Great shot there by
That was
Phil.
reasonable.
Sort of predicted by broadcast partner Jerry. Good call there, Jer. Wasn't the type of insight we were getting from Paul, I'll tell you that. There's no way Paul's listening right now. Great shot, and Kevin will go right back on the offense here. He's forced to go out quite a bit wider. It'd be interesting to see if they have an idea what the draw weight will be out here. It's always a bit of a guess when you go out this wide and you're the first one to do so in a game.
Just loaded it up for you guys.
Just got a text from Paul, wishes us good luck today. We're not allowed to do any more of that plugging, Paul.
Yeah, the two of you were a great tandem working well together. It was fun to
Line's
listen to
good.
from here in the production
Line's
office.
good.
Yeah,
Line's good, right
for
here.
those that are new
Right
to
here.
the broadcast, especially at night, we
Right
let
here.
things go a little looser.
Clean, just clean, just clean.
We'll
Just clean.
apologize to
Off,
anybody
guys.
who
Don't go into the hole. Oh.
might be offended, but
Nice
what
shot,
you do
Dave.
need to know is that Jerry, Paul, and myself, we know these players very well. They're friends
like
of
that.
ours. We feel very comfortable
Give me
making fun of
back line.
them because we've been asked to do more of an entertaining, more so than a traditional broadcast. Good example would be last night where I called Alan Lyburn out on having the touch of a left-handed rhinoceros. Alan and I have been friends for 15 years. I went down after the game last night, told him what I said, and he gave me a hug, and he started laughing. So for you at home who think we're in here being buffoons, making fun of people, it's all entertainment,
Maybe
it's
should've
all in
gone on
good
it,
fun, and
What's that?
we hope we don't cross any lines.
nothing
And
to
if we
do with
do,
that,
we
yeah.
apologize.
11 and a
Again,
half.
without Paul being here today, I
was
don't think
11
we're in
and a
any
half, Phil.
jeopardy of doing that.
Yeah, because it was Paul who takes us off the deep end every time.
Yeah, you try to reel them in, but it's tough. Those Laurier boys.
So Sean Baton was just a little bit tight on that last little hack weight hit. Rubbed the guard. Nedwin looking to draw a second shot into the rings,
Room,
I believe.
room. Whoa, then you can go off. You can go off. Whoa, room. Off
Or
if you
maybe
can.
just a guard.
Off if you can. That's back 8.
Yeah, into the rings here.
There's a good example there of, David, world-class player,
Try to make
some
room
of the
for two.
best touch in the game, but His second draw there, sliding a little deep, and it's probably
Like
because
that, anyone? Try to
he
get a
just
little
got
flop
into a
in.
little faster path. His
Look at
first
this.
rock, he was way out wide, probably fresher
Just
pebble.
peachy line, hey?
Kevin calling a peachy line there. Term we used to use quite often in 1987.
Good line.
Line's good. Room. It's got to be here, though, too. Off then. Yep. Yep, playing a rub. Come
Doing
on.
a little audible here.
Come on. Hard, guys. Real hard. Real hard. Come on.
That was a lot of rub. Yeah. There's not much you can do on this side.
Very good line call there by Brady. He recognized the fact that they were not going to curl enough
Flash.
to get the straight freeze, so he tried to play a little redirect, chap and lie, as Paul Webster would say. There's another comment that was made last night. I made a joke about who Kevin Martin's opponents were going to be today. Curling used to be a sport that was very much dominated by Canadian teams, but now, as evidenced by the field we have here this week, we have three Swedish teams, a couple Korean teams, a team from China, two-time world champion Murdoch from Scotland.
If we bury any of
Nicholas
it,
Adine
he
is
makes
our
flash.
our current world champion.
But we can't afford to show him a half, or he knocked right on.
It was only a joke, people. At this level, all the teams are excellent. They've earned their way to be here. They're putting up big money to play in this event against the best teams in the world.
Pair it with his,
So I
his
think
first
you got
rock.
to
His
calm
first
down
rock
a
is
little bit out there and
tracking.
recognize
Yeah,
that we're
one
just
side.
trying to
That's so
provide a little bit of humor, and we never
The worry is
mean
he
to
makes
disrespect
flash.
any of these teams. They're all world-class athletes.
Yeah, but there's not much else I can do. We can't afford to
I know. That's why I'm saying. There's 3 shots. So just get rid of it. Don't worry about it.
free. Yeah, well,
Good little talk there, Brady. We could just overhear on his mic,
yeah.
trying to help out his third stone, who feels he's struggling a little bit. Brady's told him shake it off.
oh no.
Kevin's a little
Well, we can play it
indecisive.
in the
We'll
house.
try to listen in here, see what he has to say.
Yeah, no, I don't like that call because we could easily spin it up, and then he makes a perfect freeze. I know, and then we're in trouble. I know. Yeah, we're not doing that. So tight guard.
Interesting team talk there, all 4 guys in on it. It's not too often you get Mark down there. One of the most knowledgeable players in the game, but Mark tends to stick to the role of front end and let the back end figure out what they want to play, but he's certainly capable of providing excellent input.
Still surprised that my last one didn't come up in my last set either. I really thought it would. Other than anything, I had too little room. Sitting there.
Well, then hard then. We want it to be tight. No, it's good. Just need it tight. Okay, clean. Oh, not too tight. Oh, guys. Oh, it's good. Whoa. Off. Well, it's not. Unfortunately, we line it kind of right up for him. But
The double. You like the double tap or you like this one?
well, the problem is it lines right up.
Well,
Ding.
but he does that. Our yellow's in here. He's rolling his shoe
I like
off
this
to
one.
make it.
True.
So, I mean,
Like this
yeah,
one.
he can make it, but it's still gonna have a good chance we're gonna have a wide open shot.
Well,
If we play this first, then he's going to play that. All right. Phil.
yeah.
We've got a 4-foot run back.
Kevin was a little worried. I think he was going to use the rock he just threw, but
Tough draw.
Yeah, it is.
looks like he's decided to go with a different option.
Guarding one of their rocks.
It's always the Cardinals sin, eh? Guard their rocks. It always comes back.
This is Baton's.
Yeah, well,
He's over
sure
the top
can.
of this one. Your call, Baton.
Looking
Track
for
straight here. Be careful with your brooms early.
out turn across the face here, and he'll try to be promoting his red rock, chip it up onto the forefoot for shot rock.
Yep.
I definitely wasn't
Whoa,
playing.
whoa, whoa!
Same spot in the first end
Oh,
where
he's going
Kevin's.
for the slice.
Wow, Dad ever run straight?
I thought he'd play that quieter and try to.
Careful with your brooms early, I said.
Yeah, that was. I think he did want to get to the inside, like you were saying
saw Kevin.
earlier.
You
But
saw Kevin's
same spot as in the first end where
Okay.
Kevin's ran
Fine.
straight and fell
Absolutely.
back too.
He's got nothing here.
That's what we'll be seeing now. This is our third day of
No, no,
coverage,
no.
and
Yeah,
that shot really has yet to be missed tight.
Guard that with this turn, I guess.
All the
eh?
guys have been missing it a hair full.
Now he draws in there.
Really tough situation right now for Brady to score, and very important that he does, or you can see Kevin just try to peel him out of this.
If it's not there, let's
It's not there. No. No, I don't like that because it'll set up a pocket. Like right now, he can't make it with this rock. As soon as you put it where your broom is, he's got the pocket, right?
Yep.
In a perfect world.
So you have to hit that one.
So
thin.
important to visualize where you're going to leave your stones.
A
Looks
double
like
run, yeah.
You know, you could just
That's awfully hard.
draw around to the forefoot here, but Kevin recognizes that if he does that, he actually makes Brady's bailout
Just
shot
behind it.
quite a bit easier. So you see a rare case here where Kevin's actually, instead of trying to draw in front of the tee line, it looks like he's trying to draw this one into the back 8. Doesn't feel that there's enough of the Brady stone in the top 8 foot to promote with any form of weight
Yeah.
to get to
it's
Kevin's
gonna be
shot
heavier.
rock.
Yeah.
This is kind of
Sure.
a case where the best guard
No,
is
he
second
was
shot.
wider, but it's close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brady does have that little run, double run on the top again.
Okay. Room.
Get a little bit of an
Room.
angle on it. He may be able to make.
Line's good.
Run it right back onto the
Line's
rock
good.
On the 4-foot for 2 right
Line's
now.
real
So
good.
Kevin's got to lie 2 somewhere in the 8-foot.
Whoa.
right here.
Yep.
Make sure it's here. Make sure it's here.
Hard.
Good.
Yeah, perfect shot there by Kevin. Good communication between him and the sweepers as well as David in the
That's where you
house.
want to put it. Yeah.
It's a great shot. I think Jerry's going to be forced to play your shot. He's not overly charmed about the situation. I don't blame him. This is tough.
You know what? I think that Martin Stone needed to be back another 6 inches to a foot
No, it's a
because
real
I
tough
think
deuce.
there is a double
Just
there.
gotta Just sliver it.
Yeah, I mean,
Catch it thin. Catch the first one thin in the house.
Both,
And
but it's really hard to not spin your shooter up around the house.
Kevin, they're just talking about that right now. He feels it'll be very hard to make it and stick it. Good point, though, Jerry. They probably,
Fine.
in retrospect, I think,
Then there's no
yeah,
deuce.
David just said another 8 inches.
Firm up.
Maybe you should go out there and coach him, Jerry. Maybe not.
I'll stay away from that. I think Kevin knows what he's doing.
He has his coach here this week, Jules. Jules Archar.
Hard.
Out here, yep.
Great individual. Very funny guy.
Hard. Whoa.
We'll be real close here.
Well, and then he gets the bad luck on top of it to drop the extra point and a steal of 3. You know, there's a situation. He gives a steal of 3, you score the guy a 0, and he's probably an 1/8 of an inch away from a potential 2 there. It was a very well thrown shot by Brady. Unfortunately for him, he now trails Kevin Martin 5-0 after 3, and it will be a long road to try to climb his way back into this one. I'd like to also give a shout out to our man, Action Dan.
The guys upstairs think we can come unplugged.
Working the controls here, doing a great job.
Here, I don't
New to
know
curling.
that it's ever been on. I don't know.
Dan's website is southernalberta.com. kind of a news and information resource site for Southern Alberta area.
Yep, no problem. Is it in?
If you're looking for anything in Southern Alberta, be sure to check out southernalberta.com.
Dan's in for a much easier finish to this bonspiel than the start. Now that prima donna Paul's left, he was giving Dan the gears quite a bit. Thought he was a little too hard on you, Dan. What we're going to see this end now, Kevin will probably throw both rocks in the rings. Very important if Brady's going to go with 2 guards to get maximum separation and proper angle, or Mark Kennedy is as good as there is in the world at running double peels. Another team that probably doesn't get enough credit for being able to power curl is the McEwen team. Because they haven't been to a Brier yet, they're not as well known, which is, I guess, somewhat understandable, but they have been one of the elite, if not the elite Cashspiel team in the world the last 3 or 4 years, winning tons of bonspiels, Grand Slams, and they will be a real threat in Winnipeg on their home turf to claim the spot for Canada to play in the Olympic Games.
Down 3.
Another hometown team right in the thick of it.
I had a lot of room.
Team Jeff
to angle it
Stoughton
back on either
featuring
one of
John
those
Meade,
so.
Reed Carruthers, and Mark Nichols. Mark looking to go to his second Olympics.
Well swept.
When you're talking about the chances of these teams in the Olympic trials, you know what? One team that I'm hearing nobody predicting to win this thing is Martin.
Oh no, they're.
You talk to everybody out there, the players, different people around the game, and everybody's putting in their predictions. And very rarely do we hear Martin's name. But come to a 1-week event, Kevin's going to be there and he's going to be tough.
Well, I got a ride here. I flew into Calgary Wednesday, and Benny picked me up at the airport, Ben Hebert, and we had a great talk on the way here. I talked to him a little bit about the trials, and is Kevin the player he was in 2002, 2006, even 2010? Probably not. I mean,
I was expecting the 6.
Week in, week out, he probably cannot perform at the level that he has throughout the rest of his career. He's now 47 years old. Injuries are starting to creep in. But one thing he will do is he will be as prepared as anyone for that event. And if he can get the old bear in there to muster out 1 week at his highest level of performance, then they could be the team to beat, and he could be off to his 4th Olympic Games. Certainly has handled the pressure of the moment better than anyone, having already won 2 Olympic trials, an Olympic silver medal, and an Olympic gold medal. So I think that's a good point, Jerry. They're sort of the forgotten team. Last Olympic trials, they were easily the favorite to win, and they did. But this go around, out of the 6 teams, no one's really giving Epping a shot, and I think there's a little bit of disrespect there as well, because John has already proven he can win in an elite field by winning the Players' Championship, which is essentially run the same way that this Olympic trials will be. So you can't count anyone out at this level.
I think with Epping's team, they're very much hot and cold.
Come on.
Johnny is seems to be the type of player that when he's on, he beats everyone.
Come on, Greg. Come on,
and
get
when
it going.
he's struggling,
Sean,
he can't beat a bunch of 6-year-olds.
You can't beat me, which that's probably not true. I don't know that. I don't know that John's ever lost to me. So
that's probably pretty typical of a young player who is trying to find that consistency over time, and with that team, he's trying to get them gelling all at the right time as well. So, I've said the same thing. I think Epping can win the trials, and it wouldn't shock me, but they're definitely a long shot when you talk about the odds and all the other teams in the field.
Absolutely. I agree with your text, Paul. I'm not going to read it on the air because we've been told to clean it up, but I think you're right on point there. If you listen to tonight's broadcast, we'll loop it up a little. We'll get it off the hook
Schlender
again.
did a Houdini single.
Still trying to fight off some cobwebs.
Clean.
Pretty nice setup here for Martin to start this end.
Close.
Don't look for them to make too many mistakes once they get running stones.
No. Good throw.
Yeah, it's too easy to pocket.
Kevin's actually not only looking to remove this red rock, I think he'd like to disturb his own yellows there because they're sort of creating a pocket right now that could be beneficial to Brady Clark.
Hard. Mark, your way. Shot, Dave.
Great shot by Dave. Got rid of 2 stones and changed the angle there on the 2 rocks in the 4-foot, creating a much better situation.
Stop this foot or two. Line's good. Yep, then.
Third stone, Sean Baton being asked to just tap with the intern, trying to create a pocket that they can use on their next shot.
Hold that line. Come on. Yep.
This is the nature of curling. It's
Good throw.
5-0 lead for Martin. Seems like a blowout, but it's really come down to 1 or 2 shots in an end, and leaving Brady with runbacks where he just missed both of them. You know, he was a whisker from making them both.
Yeah, he really got a bit of bad luck last end, giving up that steal of 3, but unfortunately, I think that's probably the final nail in the coffin as far as his chances to win this game. You don't, you run stats. I don't think Kevin Martin's ever lost a game that he was up 5-0 in, but I'd be surprised if he ever had.
Good shooting.
This goes back to 2009 in the men's worlds, and
Good shot.
Murdoch, he was leading Murdoch by 4 points at the break.
There's always
5
something.
ends
You
to
know, there's
go.
always something for the other team.
And Murdoch came back and won that game. It was the Page 1-2 game. Sorry, 2008.
Oh, Cooey just makes up.
in North Dakota, the Worlds.
Yeah.
Line's
And,
good.
For 2.
I was
No
looking
tap.
for the stats. I
No
couldn't
tap.
find a game that Kevin Martin lost up 2 with 5 ends to go, let alone 4.
Yeah, that's
in
how
that situation.
dominant those guys
No,
were
no,
in 2008, 2009, 2010.
Martin's just such a great front runner. He gets a
gonna
lead.
be easy to get out.
He doesn't give it up.
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah,
to
you
get
know,
out.
Team
can't hit
Stoughton's
too
like
thin.
that. They did that in
This
the
one first.
2011 Briar. They seem to always be able to, whether they're
anything
winning
else.
the draw to the button or
Less
whatever,
that move than the 5.
they'd eke out a little 2-point lead, and it was lights out. Reed had probably the best
That's a
week of
mean
his
slide,
life in that Briar. He played unbelievable, and I believe John Meade, he might have won the
How do you get
MVP.
out of there?
They were just so
One's
dominant.
in the way of hitting the red thin.
Yeah, we're talking about that with Stoughton going back through the years. He's never really had a second that's been a great touch player. He's always had strong hitters at second, and I think
Yeah.
I think it's graduated this Stoughton team from a contender to one of the favorites.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Oh, it went easier than I thought it would.
I think Jeff will be definitely in the mix. I don't see him getting scared out of this Olympic trials. It's probably his last run at it,
Everything's
maybe
sprung out of
John's
there a lot
last
easier
run
than
as
I
well.
thought it would.
And it's in their hometown.
Still don't
They
think
will
that
be there
6
at the
bucks
end.
later? Same ice.
Yeah, you got the back.
Other one curls all the way
Yeah.
across the face.
Nice
with
little
more
cleanup job there for Team Martin.
weight. Same intern.
Looking like a blank end here.
All right. I want him to get rid of it.
Daniel and Sam, we're just
Grab
going to
this,
take a little
sneaky
slight
loose.
break so I can grab a coffee. My little coffee boy Paul's not here today.
Probably just about over. Those are shots that Cooey couldn't make a few years ago.
Great commentary by Kevin. Ripping sort of backhanded compliment for Kevin Couey there.
Yeah,
Kevin
that's a huge
apparently
shot.
made a just unbelievable shot for 2 on an adjacent sheet. We'll get you caught up on the other scores at the end of this end as well.
Throw the 6 and 1.
Tell you right now, there aren't too many shots that Kevin Couey can't make.
We're still playing.
Kevin not messing around with any control weight there, just whipping that one down. Doesn't really care if he stays.
Let's go set up a 2.
Brady will just throw this
see
through.
If we can steal. Baton, I think, wants to quit.
I'll
but
give
I'm
you
not
a chance, Jared, to get.
Yeah, let's check out the scores on the other sheet right now.
I'm going to grab
That's
a
fine.
coffee, sir.
Brady will toss this one through.
I think if he hits that other one first, I don't
Good
think the
time
2
on
reds
it.
go.
Let's see how fast.
Unless he hits a super thin.
Hit the center line one first.
Yeah.
Big way.
Sorry there, Action Dan. We don't really need to see this shot.
Oh, he is.
Let's check out the scores real quick.
Didn't throw it very hard, though. Hard enough. Yep.
Over here on sheet 2, David Murdoch, Kevin Cooey in a 2-2 tie. Murdoch with the hammer in 4. Cooey making a great shot for his deuce. Rob Schlender leading Louis Ryu 3-2, playing 4. We got our feature game here. And of course, Andrew Bileski up 3-2 on Gustav Eskilsson, the 3rd Swedish team. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in this morning.
Let's wait.
We really enjoyed bringing you this coverage this weekend here from Brooks, Alberta, the Cactus Pheasant Classic. If you enjoy our coverage, please be sure to click on the like button under the stream on the YouTube channel. If you're watching through Curling Zone, it's in the top right-hand corner of the video. Please post any comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Who's your pick for the Olympic trials? We've been playing that game around here all weekend long with people we've been sitting down and talking to. Well, let's see who picks who kind of thing. And I think there's been 5 or 6 names bantied about as the picks. There's really no one strong favorite.
No, there hasn't been yet. And what's funny is we're only dealing with 6 of the 8 teams. As many of you know, the Roar to the Rings, there's going to be an Olympic qualifier for 2 out of 12 teams, and so nobody so far has picked Jacobs, nobody's picked Gushu because they're not in the field. But as the defending Brier champions, certainly if those guys can find their way out of that Olympic trial, pre-trial, and get into the trials, they'll certainly be in the discussion.
I think that Gushu team too. I think they're very underrated.
Oh, I think Brad Gushu, since he's got these young guys, he's really raised the level of his play. They probably re-energized him, and I'm super impressed with the young team he's put together.
Canadian junior and world champions all in front of him.
Pretty close to even, guys.
Jeff Walker with a world junior title. Brett Gallant and Adam Casey, I believe, were world silver medalists.
What a half.
Winning the junior title out of Prince Edward Island. So I think these are names that they have the pedigree and the talent. They just maybe don't have they're not a known commodity, especially out west.
Now, and they'll be a real threat the next go-around if that team does stick together. We were saying, Mike McEwen, Cooey's young enough. You're looking at maybe the old guard of the game that seems to be in. Wow.
A little bit of flashy-itis there.
Don't know what happened. You don't see that happen too many times out of Mark. I like to make fun of you, Mark, but I'm not allowed to, so we'll just talk about it later. Yeah, the old guard's been around a long time. Glenn Howard had 25 years between World Championship victories, with 2 more squeezed in there. Kevin won his first Brier in 1991, and Jeff won his in 1996. Jeff and Glenn are actually both eligible for seniors. They won't like me mentioning that on air, but it's true. And Kevin's 47, so I think for 2018 those guys could be gone.
Yep.
And you have the likes of Cooey, McEwen, Gushu, Jacobs ready to step in and
guys, come on,
take over.
Come on.
Mark Keane, a great young team as well.
Yeah.
You know what? I think 5-10 years ago, you'd hear the commentary of what happens when all these older guys retire, and people were concerned about the lack of real strong young teams coming up. But we've seen over these last few years they're starting to come out. The Jacobs team, the Eppings, the McEwens. The events like the Grand Slams have really given these teams opportunity to compete and play at a high level against the old guard.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Grand Slam of curling has been amazing for the game. If anything, it's helped create a lot of separation, which we see. Like right now, there's been a lot of talk about there being 5 elite teams in Canada, and Jacobs is probably in that conversation now, making it 6.
Hard line, hard line.
You got to count Gucci in there, but
I would suggest Jacobs is part of that group.
Oh,
now.
absolutely
he leads I believe he leads the year-to-date order of merit. He's earned the most points of any team on tour this season.
Whoa! No, I've talked to enough of the other players out there, and they've certainly earned their way into that conversation. All the top guys would include them.
I think the only thing about them in the trials is that just that little extra pressure of having to get there first. Their spot isn't sealed up yet.
No.
And it being the first time for them at an Olympic event of any kind. No pre-trials experience in the past, no trials experience. It's the question is whether they'll be able to overcome that.
It's certainly a different kind of pressure. It only shows up once every 4 years. So nice little roll there by David, rolling for a center guard, or as my university roommates used to call it, a blocker.
I think I like this.
Hit and roll here, Barry, would make things very interesting for Clark. Got to make sure he keeps his shooter in play.
I like a little bit of splash here. Just throw a little hack waiter, get them all moving.
Again, I'll ignore that comment because I'm not allowed to talk about it. Try saying that at 7:30 tonight, Jerry, and see what happens.
Close.
If you want to ask us any questions, I'm at XL Purple Sweater on Twitter. We read all of your tweets and contact on the air. So
that's good. I should have probably.
If you want to be heard, please contact us. We had some excellent questions last night. Laura Crocker, very funny in her tweet, as was Lefty Ken Bear's wife. She then took that tweet down. David Nedwin being asked to throw the intern here. Normal weight, maybe run the double.
Hard.
Just narrowly missed. Now things get a little interesting. There's an opportunity here for a multiple point end. Still looking to get probably a half shot miss out of Kevin.
You like that, or you like the face?
I thought it might straighten up a touch there too.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
It's good that you stayed there, though. Like, if you hit it too thin,
Which one?
then he comes around like, no, he has to make a hit and roll or a freeze or something.
You have the 6?
All right. It's crazy cold out here today, hey?
It is cool, yeah.
Brady asking what rock his third stone Sean's going to throw. It looks like he might have one rock that reacts a little differently than his other, so he wants to broom him properly for it.
I wonder if it's just.
Or maybe it's better than that. Over there, maybe.
When you talk about the U.S. trials, there's 5 teams in the field there.
Where are we?
Brady Clark is one of those teams.
Yep.
John Schuster,
Where are we?
Tyler George,
Often.
Pete Fenson, and Heath
not
McCormick.
there yet. Is that the 6
And
still?
I think you could roll the dice 5
Kidding me.
times and get 5 different winners out of that group.
Yeah, you know what? I talked
How many times do you have
a
to
little
throw
bit
6
to Brady
straight?
before the game,
I'm
and I mean,
serious,
he
that rock
doesn't
is
want to
straight.
come right out and say who his main competition is, obviously, but he was pretty forthright in saying he thought Schuster's had a great year this year. Fenson's a veteran. He mentioned how Heath McCormick ran through the Nationals 2 years ago. So he said he feels the team that is
Just
playing the
control.
best at
Control
that
weight right
point
there.
in time and who can get hot and handle the pressure will probably win. And I mean, that sounds obvious, but there is no clear-cut favorite there for sure. There isn't a clear-cut favorite in Canada in the men's or the women's, whereas I think if we went back to
Just control.
2010, we
Just
knew
off
that
the
the
nose.
final was probably going to be Glenn Howard versus Kevin, with Kevin being slightly favored, and Jeff Stoughton, who lost the semifinal, was clearly the third best team. But the U.S. does not have that. There's a bunch of parity, and this year Canada's the same.
I would suggest on the women's side there is definitely a clear
How about
cut
the
favorite,
double? No?
and that would be Rachel's team.
Above Jennifer.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep.
And
yep,
Jennifer
yep,
is the clear
yep.
cut second. Like, I think there's 1 and then 2. Like, there's your
Oh
final.
no, we gotta get on that thing.
Yeah, a little miscue there by Kev,
Oh,
rolling
make that
over the
easy.
top.
Sweep it, I think.
How do we
Out
play?
of my hand.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I love Rachel Holman's team. Joke about how much I love Ali Kreviasic, but I'm not allowed to do
You
that
weren't
right
calling the
now, so
double out of
please
my
ignore
hand?
that comment. But
I got it in my hand.
they had an amazing run last year in the Scott Tournament of Hearts. That being said, people
Oh.
forget Jennifer
Yeah, I
went
thought another
undefeated
hand
in the
went
round
over.
robin.
We were safe, I
So
think.
essentially, Rachel beat her in a best 2 out of 3 and went on to win. But Jennifer was undefeated. She has a great team, and the slight
Even if
difference
you
is
get
she's
only
been
half
in it
buried, you're
before. This
okay.
will be Rachel's first trials, but Rachel is an ice queen. Nothing bothers her. She's immune to
Let me play
pressure.
this, 'cause if we-
I don't think
if
the
we,
pressure will get to
freeze,
her at
he's
all.
gonna
But
guard, you can guard it, or
I guess I was
12.
referring more to the pre-trials than the actual
Two's-
trials. I do
two would
agree
be
with you.
nice,
Those 2
three would be
teams
awesome,
I
but,
would
I mean,
consider heavy favorites
roll
going
it,
into the trials in Winnipeg.
And my prediction now, and people,
Write this down,
people
Dan.
might
Write
not,
this down.
People might not like this right now, based on especially all the Canadian fans out there. But if Rachel doesn't win the trials, I don't think the Canadian women come home with a medal in Sochi.
Wow, a medal.
Don't move much.
I'm going to text my dear friend Dawn McEwen and see how she feels about that, Jerry. Maybe get Caitlin in the mix.
I'm not saying they can't, but you look at what the international teams are doing right now on tour. The top 6 on the World Curling Tour money list are non-Canadian teams. 6 out of 8 last weekend in Kamloops were international teams. 4 out of 8 qualifiers in Medicine Hat were international qualifiers. You go back to Vernon, and I believe 5 out of 8 were international teams. Even Calgary, I think, in the women's Grand Slam, it was something like 4 or 5 out of 8 were international teams making the playoffs there as well.
Without knowing who the Canadian rep is going to be, who would you favor right now to win the women's gold medal in the Olympics?
There's a lot of teams at the top there too. I think there's enough parity, and this is why I think Canada's going to be in tough, because there's so many good teams. Miriam
Might 8
Ott,
foot.
Eve Muirhead,
Line's real good.
even the Russian ladies.
Line's real good.
Sidorova.
Just bite the
Russian
8
ladies
foot.
have a curling team? I didn't know that.
And then, of course,
Just bite the 8 foot. No
Sigfridsson
double.
out of Sweden. They've been in multiple finals. Their problem seems to be winning that final game has
Well
been an
swept, you
issue
guys.
for them. But one of these days, they're going to win a final, and the Olympics could very well be it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about that, like with Mike McEwen's team winning a final. They lost, I believe, 7 World Curling Tour finals in a row. Anybody who curls.
They won the 7th one, but lost 6.
Yeah, they
before
lost
that.
6 in a row. Are you kidding me? To make that many finals in a row, you're obviously doing something right. And it's not like Mike hasn't won events before.
Yep.
Be nice to see Mike break
9.
through at the national
Who's
level.
loser?
Stoughton hopes it's not this year, obviously, as do all the other
All right,
people
guys.
at the trials.
See what happens.
Looking for a very, very skinny double here. Might be about as thin as the one Al Hackner made, famous in the 1985 Brier final in Moncton against Pat Ryan.
Well. Yep. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Very close.
Tick, catch.
Wow.
How good is this guy? What a great shot.
Beauty.
Nothing you can do there if you're Kevin Martin but tip your hat. Great shot by Brady.
Good shot.
The last stone of the 5th end. Brady Clark with 2 on the board. You know, Brady Clark is a shot maker, and he just showed it there once again.
Yeah, we talked about it in the broadcast. He was on fire last year in the Worlds. Hopefully now his U.S. fans are going to get off my back. We've been praising Brady during this game.
Beauty.
Yeah, Brady Clark threw 96%
Even a blind squirrel gets in that once in a
one of the
while, you
games
know?
at the Worlds and lost that game.
I get
Favored that
96% in grade 9 typing, Jerry. It's a true
Get
story.
about a half an inch of it. Perfect.
I know.
I
And
believe it was up to about 48 words a minute.
Brady was making doubles and runbacks and angles, and his team was struggling a bit in that game, and Brady kept it close and was able to keep the team in the game, and throughout the entire week he stood on his head, and he was one of the top shooters in the skip position.
What are you doing?
A little confusion as to what they're doing here. I think they're just going with the high guard.
Well, I don't think you're making a 3, are you? All right.
Yeah, they weren't sure whether to leave that one high, Jerry, or bring it tight, and they're sort of in the middle. Kevin will have Benny throw the out turn. Interesting in practice. I saw Benny throwing some in-turn draws there. It looked pretty smooth, Benny. I think it's way underrated. Maybe you're waiting till the Olympic trials to just burst out and hit everyone with your in-turn.
Got room.
Sort of like a fighter who trains to be a southpaw.
Good.
I think Benny's playing a little possum. He might
Line's
feature the
good.
in-turn in the trials.
Hitting
It's
everyone.
buried.
You
Right
know,
here.
there may be people sitting along the sideboards.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to take a lot of ice in an arena with Ben's in-turn, but
Shot, Benny.
It's gonna be like that gutter that rides the gutter all the way in in bowling.
yeah, 10-pin bowling with some late finish.
Get the spin going, Benny. Get the spin going.
I would think Jerry being down 3 without the hammer.
Yep, let's go.
Probably look to throw another guard, but they
Right
they
down
might
to
be
here.
bringing this in.
Look, ton of room. Ton of room. Off. Top. Off. Off. It's got to be outside that rings. We don't have anything here.
We really need this rock to stop. And it did. Good shot. Ben again will be going with the out turn here, trying to block that path. And then you'll see Mark Kennedy trying to redeem himself after flashing 2 ends ago. Probably the first peel Mark's missed in 3 years. Benny did comment yesterday via text that Mark would not make 100 out of 100 peels.
Yeah. Try to save the angle.
I think there's a dare there. I wonder how many in a row you could line up on Kennedy and he'd make.
Yeah, we can get a side bet going. He said Mark doesn't make 100% of his peels.
Like coming around.
Starting to play like a certain second stone out of Manitoba, which I will not mention because we're not going to make fun of any people on the broadcast today. One came up a little short for Ben. He won't be too happy with that.
Yep.
Actually just over curled more than anything.
Yep. Yep. Good line.
All fairly bunched close together, so there'll be an opportunity
Line's
here
getting
for
better. Pretty good.
Mark to
Hard.
clean up any mess.
Hard to the full floor. Come on, boys. Hard. Come on. Come on, bait and sweep that brush. Let's go. All right. Sweeping, guys.
Kevin looking for the double peel here from Mark. As we talked about, probably one of the best players in the world at this shot. Like to say hi to Mr. Viewer this morning, longtime follower of the broadcast. See how he's doing. Recovering from overserving himself with whiskey last night. Good shot there by Ben. Cleaning up 3 stones. Team Martin still lies 1. Brady will call for a high guard here. You see Kevin rip it off. Those rocks are staggered in the rings, though, so Brady will be able to use them as a guard later in the end to potentially draw around them.
Clean.
A little quiet on
Split
Twitter
center.
today, Jerry. Not much going on.
Still early.
That probably shows people are looking for a little more
finish is
gumption
pretty hard here,
to
guys.
get involved. Some new
split
followers. Might as well mention those.
Yeah.
Courtney
Pretty
Pierce,
good.
Aaron Bree, Donald McDermott, and Nathan Adams. Welcome. Thank you very much. For following.
Don McDermott, lead stone for Jamie Murphy out of Nova Scotia.
We have our first text or tweet of the day from Judy Hebert, Ben's mom, at RudeJude70. It's really a crapshoot. Olympic trials, hashtag who gets shot, hashtag mental toughness, hashtag I believe, hashtag Team Martin. She certainly tweets like Benny with multiple hashtags. Thank you for the shout out. Great coverage. Thank you, Judy. I wish Benny all the best. As you know, you've raised a fine young boy there.
Yeah, we should talk like in hashtags, just like Justin Timberlake does there.
I haven't seen that video yet, but check it out on YouTube, people. It's supposed to be hilarious.
I believe it's Timberlake and what's his name on the Late Show?
Is it Fallon?
Yeah, I think him and Fallon were doing it. Basically, they have a conversation and using hashtags.
Line's a little tight.
Priceless.
That's fine. It's fine. Line's fine. Split center, guys.
Another out-turn guard here that Team Martin will make go away.
Yep. That's good. Oh, sorry, Kevin.
That's okay.
Yeah, the difference in this game certainly not indicated as much by the score as just the wrong side of the inch a couple times for Brady. They've actually played pretty well. He's made some great shots and some near misses.
Yep. Good.
David probably doesn't feature as much of a weapon with the big weight as what Team Martin would have had with John Morris. But make no mistake about it, you don't win 4 Briars throwing 4 stones without being able to throw some heat. So even though it's not his bread and butter, David can still get the rock down there.
I asked this question about this
Yep,
lineup.
line.
Would the lineup maybe fit the player dynamics a little bit better if they went
Nothing
to the old Kirby
extra.
system?
Yeah, I mean, that was a good question. It was posed the other day. I mean, certainly with Kevin Martin, you'd never be able to do that. Kevin has done nothing but
I
throw
thought I was seeing double.
4 stones. And if anything, over time, I'd be willing to say that Kevin is not nearly as good a hitter as what he used to be.
Want to come in
Yeah.
with the in?
But he could be the best draw guy in the world when he gets going because, he's got those sweepers. And that's probably where Kevin's game has matured the most. It's almost like Nolan Ryan used to just throw 100 miles an hour and strike everybody out. But as he got older, he still threw a no-hitter at 46 years old because he put a changeup in there. He put a curveball in there. So Kevin's developed his game over time from a guy who's pretty much known to be a power player. Now I would say, if anything, he's more known for his draw weight.
Yeah, you look
Hard
at
line.
these guys
Okay,
typically
then,
win
whoa.
every draw to the butt.
Should we
Oh,
chip
yeah, it's
off?
unbelievable.
They changed the rules after the
Oh,
Briar
well, yeah, hard then.
Calgary
Hard if you're not
because
heavy.
of Kevin Martin.
Hard, don't give him a double.
They won
Go, Mark.
every
Go, go,
hammer.
go,
That
go,
was
go, go, go,
2008,
go,
I
go, go,
believe.
double.
Yeah.
They won every hammer in the draw to the button, covered the pin every time, I believe. And you really tell how good of a draw player he is and how
Even
good
here.
those sweepers are because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. They actually changed the rules. When I was at the Briar in 1997, they no longer allowed fifth players to drink beer in the locker room for some reason.
Yeah, a little tight. A little tight.
So those Tim Hortons cups back in those days were
They did come in handy, those Tim Hortons cups. Drank a lot of coffee that week.
Even back 4 is great.
or so everyone watching believed.
Kevin threw a lot in.
Looking for an
he threw a lot
in-turn
in
draw around the
DSC.
whole
This is where
world
his
here.
line was. It was 14 and a half.
If he can make a good one in here, Jerry, you could set up a steal, and now we're back into a ball game with
One
2
shot.
ends to go.
One missed guard. One missed guard.
90.
Makes a beautiful shot.
90 total.
And a big steal. And
Murdoch missed his last shot last time.
Looks like Kevin and Dave, we're going to have to
Even
talk
ends,
to
that's
Jules here. I
a
think they're
huge-
doing a little too much watching on the other sheets here. He's going to have to tighten up his team here and get him a little more focused.
I think Dave was talking about Murdoch's last shot last night,
no.
where
This side,
the
I
last
had to
shot
throw
came
pretty
just
hard.
a hair heavy, one missed shot,
Yeah.
and we lost the game.
Where are we?
Yeah, that was the game we featured last night with Rob
Get
Fowler.
down to that red one.
Congratulations to Rob.
Get right
Hope
down to
you're enjoying your time
Get
off.
right down
Anything
to it.
this turn? Not really. Hit and
Yep.
roll.
Oh.
They did
Wow.
qualify, did they not? Or
That
it-
was a B qualifier game, yes.
Now, I saw them at the rink this morning. Were they just here practicing?
So we got to
Yeah.
leave this wide open.
They're
Wow.
having a practice shot. Or,
Not here, though. It gives them like a perfect.
That's an unfortunate result there for Brady, who's played very well in this game. But Kevin
play over
can
here, I don't think.
can maybe end the
This
game
in-turn
here,
he can
put him out of
definitely
his
make it.
misery, if you will, if he makes a nice
Top
in-turn
12.
draw. There won't really be anywhere for Brady to hide. Be forced probably to play an out-turn, come around, and Kevin will either be able to follow him down or use this rock he's about to put in, hopefully in the top 12 foot for
14-7.
Kevin to slash it across.
Yeah, I'd love to be like 3/4 open, top 8. Yeah, bite the top 8. We can't afford to be 4 foot though.
We have a little mention here from
I'm out wider though.
sorry, Katarina. I'm probably going to butcher your last
Top
name.
8.
Tapilo?
Line's real good. Top 8, line's good.
Tapilo. Sweep that brush. That's a new one. Hashtag curling at XL Purple Sweater.
Just top 8. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
We'll just watch his shot come in from Kevin. Put it exactly where he wanted to.
I think that's where he set his broom.
Yeah, they certainly don't miss draws by too much. A lot of trouble here now for Brady. We have a question from Travis Sabin at XL Purple Sweater. If you had to choose one team to win the pre-trials and then the trials,
Anything else?
who would I choose? In the men's,
How much?
I think the obvious choice there is probably Jacobs. They've had a great run this year. I think they started the season like 23-1 or something just ridiculous. Won a couple of Bonspiels and then lost the final of their semifinal of a Bonspiel. But
He himself.
I think they're probably the best team in the pre-trials, and they've certainly proven that they can play with the big boys. So it would have to be them.
Wait.
In the ladies, coming out of the pre-trials, I mean, she's way under the radar, but Cheryl Bernard's already been there, done that. She could be tough, but
I think all we have to do is hit the red one.
you know, we joke around a little bit last night about a slight crush on Laura Crocker, but they've got a great young team, play with a lot of confidence. I guess without having the teams in front of me, I'd probably go with one of those Alberta teams. Clybrink as well, so I'm not really dodging around it. I think if I had to pick one, I will go with Laura Crocker.
Yeah, you look at that Crocker team from last year. They qualified A-side out of like 4 or 5 Bonspiels, I think. Their struggles last year to really capitalize on that is I believe they lost all their quarterfinals.
Here we go. Handshakes all around. Kevin Martin with the win. Multiple rock score in the final end will go up as an X, I believe.
Good game. Good luck with our sweep. Yep.
Good performance there by Brady. He won't be happy with the final score, but he played very well, made a lot of shots.
right.
Wish him a lot of luck in 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I'll be cheering for my very good friend Heath McCormick. Hopefully Heath can come out of the U.S. Love to see him playing in the Olympics, but good luck to you and your team, Brady.
So it's
Do you have the 12 teams for the trials or no? No.
Are we back? Yeah, it's back. So 7-2 final. Martin over Clark. Those 2 stones do count. We'll change in the rules about 4 or 5 years ago on how they count scores and stuff. If Martin had 1 stone to come, he was lying points, then they count.
Gotcha.
That's the rule on how they mark those up.
So, Travis, hopefully we answered that question. I'm going to go with Laura Crocker and Team Jacobs. And if I had to pick a winner of the ladies, I mean, you got to flip a coin, I think, between Jennifer and Rachel. I'd like to see them basically play a best 4 out of 7. I'm going to just flip a coin. That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah, when I pick Rachel as the favorite, I'm not saying the other team can't win. It's curling, right? It's anything can happen.
Both of those teams could miss the playoffs. It's possible.
Yeah. It's the strange thing at the trials. It's happened before too. I know Jennifer's team was the favorite for 2010, and they struggled out of the gate and had a hard go at it. Even your dad, Wayne Madaw, twice the favorite going in, and he said it. I've read some of the media news reports out of it, and he just felt like they were just a half a shot off, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, Wayne, he had to be very disappointed in 1998. They probably went in there with Jeff Stoughton as the favorite, and neither team made the playoffs. That one was won by Mike Harris over Kevin Martin, who defeated Eddie Wernick in the semifinal. It's very important in the trials to get off to a fast start because the week is not quite as long. You don't play as many games in the trials as you would in a Scott Tournament of Hearts or a Brier. so you don't have that luxury of a slow start. Jennifer's actually, in a couple of her excellent performances at the Scotties, got off to slow starts and been able to overcome them. Last year, she had no such difficulty going 11-0. I'd be very happy for Wayne. I'm very good friends with that team, being an Ontario guy. Brent Lang, one of my best friends. So I would love to see that team win. You know, it's Glenn's maybe his last kick at it. It's hard to say. I mean, he's still playing as well as ever. He's in better shape now than he was when he won the Worlds in 1987. But it'd be good. It's probably the one thing missing on both their resumes. Glenn, a 4-time world champion. Wayne, a 3-time world champion. My opinion, Wayne, I'll always say Kevin Martin has the best resume in the game for sure. You can't take that away from him, but I think the best player I've ever seen is Wayne Middaugh, the most talented player. We're just messing around with the cameras a little bit, trying to bring you some bonus footage.
You've got 2 different games. I'm trying to figure out which is which. What are the one that Cooey is on?
Travis, how about you send us in your picks? Let us know what you think.
Whatever sheet that is.
I think a team that's going to be real hard to beat is Kevin Cooey as well. The big thing will be the matchups early in the week and whoever can get off to that hot start and build confidence. We're going to go catch up on some action here with Rob Schlender of, I believe, Edmonton, Alberta. Rob beat me in the 1991 Canadian Juniors. 3-2 in a tight battle. My second missed the rings on a come around to set up a steal. Little shout out to Jason Boyce there. Rob knocked off Kevin Martin yesterday. Made a great audible hit and roll buried behind a guard that you're going to make about 1 in 10 when you're actually trying to make the double. Maybe 1 in 80. And I believe Team China knocked off Kevin Cooey or Kevin Martin earlier in this event as well. I believe they've taken over as the #1 ranked team in China. It used to be Wang and his team, but I would say that Liu is probably the top ranked team out of China now. There will be no Wang jokes made at this time. We're just trying to get the game set up here, folks. We're hidden away in a little corner room at the Brooks Curling Club. No access to viewing the other sheets live because we can't see the ice surface from where we are. Looks like Schlender's up 5-3 without the hammer. Team China has the hammer, playing 6. Throwing the red stones. Little tap there. They
Lost Action Dan.
Action Dan, our executive producer, has stormed out of the room.
Trying to figure out Action Dan's system here. Some choppy camera work on my
That's not what we pay you for, Jer. So we have a shot of the rings. Looks like Rob's going to make a play on this red stone. He's got a nice rock coming down here. The boys were sweeping it. Now he's just calling them off. Looking to get a little more curl. It's either super heavy on that shot or they really needed to curl a lot more. Certainly, I don't think did what they were hoping to accomplish. Eliminating their own stone. And leaving China lying 1 half buried. We don't have these players mic'd up. Not that it would really matter because I cannot translate, unlike my prowess to translate Scandinavian and Russian languages. I'm not very versed in any form of Chinese or Mandarin. Looks like they're discussing possibly promoting their own Red Rock. Who really knows? It's hard to say at this point in time. Apologies, P. I'm used to working with far more professional people, day in, day out. Little lapse in the broadcast here. We're obviously nothing without Dan, and he seems to have left to go grab a coffee or tend to nature. It's hard to say. Maybe sign some autographs. He's back. Dan the man is back. Dan, where the hell did you go, buddy? Dan was just going down to grab the player mics off of Martin and Clark. You got to be careful. Those guys, especially Martin's team, might try to steal those things and use them for training purposes. The boys are listening. Great performance out there, but Mark will go out and throw some of those intern peels off the line later. Work on it. I'll get you straightened out there.
We still have 234 people along with us for this ride here.
That's 234,000, Jerry.
234,000.
That's a lot of viewers. It's good early in the day. Sort of going with a more calm, peaceful broadcast right now. We don't have that troublemaker Paul Webster with us today. We will liven it up a little tonight, not too over the top. Although I can't promise anything if our sponsor Bud Light gets involved. Real break in the action here. I don't know. We might have to consider putting time clocks on these teams.
Can we get a shot of the house there, Dan? As they're talking.
Maybe do some score updates here, Jerry, on the other sheets. You get the internet up anywhere here? Travis responds that he thinks Jacobs will be the pre-trials with a Stoughton Cooey Trials final. Cooey wins, and he's going with Kelly Scott, very accomplished player out of BC, former Scottish champion. Out of the pre-trials, great pick. And he's taking you down here, Jerry. He's going with Jones over Holman. David Mayer, there were some comments, Dave, maybe to get things calmed down a bit. There will be excessive chirping happening as we progress through the day. Trying to do a milder, calmer broadcast to break people in. But Curling After Dark will return tonight.
Quarterfinals here from the Cactus Pheasant Classic go tonight at 7:30 Mountain Time.
It's hard to keep a good man down, Dave, and even though I'm not a good man, they're not going to keep me down, baby. All the money I'm making off of this, I feel I should be able to broadcast in the way I see fit. With respecting people's boundaries, Lawrence, if you're listening. Going with the outturn tap here. Team China. Nice touch there. They got that in under cover. Trying to score 2 or 3 to get back in this game against Rob Schlender. Someone sent out a very funny tweet about a year ago with a face shot of Rob comparing it to what Brad Jacobs might look like in 15 years.
There's definitely some. They've got a similar set of features.
Yeah, Rob could be his uncle or something like that. It's hard to say. A lot of stuff goes on in curling on the road. You never know.
Makes the run, rolls the shooter underneath. Not quite far enough. China still lying one.
Benny or Mark, if you're around, we could use some help in this broadcast to liven it up a bit. like to discuss with you, Mark, how we continually build you up as one of the best hitters in the world, and then you flash that peel by 6 inches. Feel free to come up and just explain that the bear gave you way too much ice, which is probably the case.
So just an update on some of the other scores. We've got Kevin Cooey up 3-2 on David Murdoch. Cooey with a steal in the 4th end. And Andrew Bileski up 6-1 on Gustav Eskilsson.
Yeah, that young Bileski team, last year's representative out of BC, starting to play more and more tour events. The exposure you get at a Briar helps build your confidence to do that, maybe get a little more sponsorship. It's good to see those guys getting out on the road. If I was saying this yesterday, I'd say they need the work, but obviously they don't. I'll tell you one thing this Chinese team is they're certainly deliberate.
This goes back to the World Cup of Curling, the same format that the Masters of Curling is back in 2009. And Coach Dan Raphael was working with the Chinese at that point. And I believe the Chinese men's team ran out of time in the 7th end.
Yeah, like that's unheard of, but I can see why now. I mean, this is a rain delay here.
The coach, actually, I was talking to him afterwards, and he's like, you know what, I just had to let him do it, let him learn. You know, you just let him learn by losing a game like that.
Something Brian Cochran's coach probably never did with him, because he hasn't seemed to learn yet. He's a very patient player. Is that a proper way to say that, Jerry, without getting in any trouble?
We're seeming to get it's a bit of an epidemic in Ontario lately. We've done a bunch of games streaming over there with tour events, and we're regularly getting 2.5-hour games, some games going as deep as 2:45 and 3 hours even at times. And it's something that these teams need to kind of quicken up the pace a bit.
Yeah, I mean, most of this generation should have grown up watching, the likes of Wayne Bedard or Glenn Howard play if you're in Ontario, or, Kevin Martin or Stoughton. And these guys, they're prepared for what the other team's going to do. They know what they want to do. And we saw it a lot with Team Cooey. I mean, they're thinking 2-3 shots ahead, talking about it. If this happens, we'll do this. If this happens, we'll do this. Really no excuse to have a 2.5 hour. 2.5 hours is a nice pace of play for a 10-end game, maybe, not 8. Since we have so many breaks in the action, people, please feel free to keep me awake by tweeting at XL Purple Sweater. Questions, comments, any suggestions on how to pick up the pace of play will all be appreciated.
So we've got a couple comments here in the YouTube comment section as well.
I hope they're nicer than they were last night.
Tim Hordell says, I still like Martin at the trials. Ted Wallace comes back, Glenn Howard is my pick for the trials. And then Tim again suggests whoever wins the trials will be the favorites at the Olympics. On the men's side, yeah, I would totally agree with that.
Yeah,
Canadian
absolutely.
men are the favorites to win gold no matter who comes out.
I think if we sent any one of probably 6 or 7 teams, they would go in as the favorite, with all due respect to, I believe, is the best international team, and that's Team Adine.
And then Joanne Beatty says, I'm going with Team Howard to represent Canada and win the gold.
Yeah, one thing Glenn is very good at is once he gets to that international level, he has never had a slip up. He's 4 for 4 in world championships. Wayne's 3 for 3. And Lang and Saville, when you combine their juniors, are a perfect 4 and 4.
I remember talking to the head coach of one of the European.
Nice little hit and roll buried there.
Beautiful shot. Hold on.
It's the type of shot you expect to make after taking 6 minutes to call it.
remember talking to one of the coaches, the head coaches from one of the European countries before the last Olympics, and the team they were most scared of was Glenn Howard.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Glenn, once he's gone to that international, I mean, that's the one sort of hiccup on Kevin's resume, if people want to get picky, is his performance at the international level probably hasn't been up to par with the rest of his curling. He lost the 85 Junior Worlds. He lost the 91 World Championship when the Olympics was not a full sport, not a full medal sport. 1992, I believe he lost did he even bronze medal in that? Maybe not. But I think the whole curling world was very happy for Kevin and his team in 2010 to win on home soil and finally break through and get that gold medal.
Yeah.
I know I was. It was much deserved.
He certainly gives him the best ever tag, and definitely applies to Kevin Martin in that situation.
Yeah, what he has above Glenn is that Olympic gold, that Olympic silver. You know, it'd be interesting now if Glenn could ever win Miss Trials and go on and win the gold medal. Now I think he can have a pretty good debate, because he's certainly going to catch up a lot if he could get that gold medal. But if someone else was to win, I still think you got to tip your hat to Kevin. John Cullen, at Cullen the Comic. I met John for the first time a couple days ago. Very funny individual, professional comic, very involved with the game of curling. Great to meet you this weekend. Finally happy to be the leading curling coverage out of the Stone Age with you. Thank you very much, John. I'd love to do some work with John together. I think we could probably rock a pretty good broadcast.
Yeah, I agree.
John's done quite a bit of work on the curling site. What's his little, he does some great live interviews there.
Cullen and a Curler. If you go to curlingzone.com, one of them, his latest one with Sean White, kicker for the Montreal Alouettes.
Really?
Is actually on the front page in our video carousel. Sean White is a he's a curler and used to make ice in a club in BC, and so he's got some curling experience as well, and a crush on Rachel Holman too.
Wow, fitting that in there. Did that come out in the interview, or are you just making this up?
It sure did. That's one of these things about John's interviews with the curlers. He definitely digs a little bit deeper and gets some great insight into the players. There's a great interview from Ben Hebert, where Benny just kind of lights things up.
Yeah, I did see that one.
Park as well. And John's actually come over to Curling Zone, and his future videos are going to be posted to the Curling Zone YouTube channel coming up in the near future.
Got an out-turn draw here for Team China, throwing the red stones, trying to draw into lie 2. Just a mess of rocks in play this end.
Schlender just missing the run back on his previous shot. Leaves China the draw for 2, and we're all tied up at 5 now after 6 ends here at the 2013 Cactus Pheasant Classic from Brooks, Alberta.
Just on the edge of our seats here.
What's that? It's nice when they take this long to get the first rock thrown. When you look at the teams and speed of play, that right there is the exact reason why teams, younger teams and teams learning take so long. That lead stone needs to be down the ice a lot quicker than that, and there's no reason to take that long to throw the first stone at the end. As this early end here is getting started, we're in the 7th end. Rob Schlender, Rui Liu of Team China. Take a chance to thank some of our great sponsors here at the Cactus Pheasant Classic. Platinum sponsor, Heritage Inn Hotel and Convention Center. We've got our gold sponsors, Cactus Communications, Brooks Home Furnishings, and the City of Brooks, Alberta's Centennial City. Our silver sponsors, ATB, Aztec Security, Badger Daylighting, BRK Rentals, Cactus AVU, Evergreen Implements, Latigo Trucking, Logan Industries, North End Liquor Store, Orion LLP, Q107, 105.7, The One, Rosano Trucking, Smith Trucking, Tim Hortons, and UFA. Both these teams struggling a little bit with their weight here. Center guard goes up. The first Schlender stone goes a little bit, comes up short, trying to go around the center, and then the Chinese lead stone by Dexon Ba goes deep. Dylan Webster throwing lead stones here for Team Schlender. This is a new squad for Robbie this year. Picked up the Sluchinski brothers, as well as Dylan Webster, just out of juniors here in Alberta. I was talking to Rob earlier this weekend about the team, and it's like, he's got a team of great hitters, but he really likes to play the draw game.
He does, eh?
So it's just a matter of convincing these guys to call those shots, to play those shots. Last night against Andrew Bolesky, I think they blanked the first 5 ends of the game.
Yeah, I remember that was.
Gave up 2 and then a steal of 2, and it was all over.
That hurts. We got a couple other comments here on Twitter, Jerry. CHBW at 72 CHBW. Truck race on TV, curling on computer, beer in hand. Great afternoon in Ontario. Thanks, Jerry and crew. Thanks for following. And then we've heard back from Katarina. She's helped out with the pronunciation of her name. It's Katarina Tepillo. Tepillo. Yeah. You got that, bud? Okay. I didn't.
I thought that's what I said, actually.
You probably did, and I'm the one who butchered it. She sees a McEwen-Howard final with Glenn just squeezing it out. And women's side, she's pretty convinced that Rachel Holman's going to win.
I like Katarina. She's a pretty smart girl. That men's final's my pick, too. Although I am going with a McEwen win in that one.
You are, right? Little question here from Mark Kennedy, who I believe is over at another club working on his peels. The score is now 5-5. I don't think he has access to tied up.
I believe this is Xiaoming Zhu. Second stones for Team China.
we have any idea what our next broadcast is going to be, boys? We picked the teams yet?
I believe the game that we'll have is the winner of Cooey Murdoch taking on the winner of Bolesky Eskelson. So if the scores hold up the way it's looking right now, it's going to be a Cooey Bolesky C qualifier game at 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time.
Always fun to do Cooey's games.
Cooey Murdoch are in a tight battle right now. We'll do a quick update on the scoreboard after this ends completed. Kevin Martin's team into the C qualifier, and he will get the winner of this match here between Schlender and Lou.
Yeah, Kevin got off to a bit of a rough start in the event, but they've seemed to gain some traction for sure. Be great for locals and curling fans everywhere if Kevin can find his way into the playoffs.
You know, there's a reward for qualifying early. Which one are you going to get? Martin or Cooey?
Yeah, that's always fun, when you qualify A-side and your reward is to be handed one of the, the top 2 teams in the world.
Yeah, Steve Laycock right now is lining up to face the winner of Martin and Martin's C qualifier game. So Kevin can get out. There's Steve Laycock's gift. And Sven Mikkel, the Swiss team, will play the winner of qualifier 8, and that will be Cooey Murdoch, Bolesky, Eskelson.
Congratulations. I know I didn't do it very often, but the last year before the BDO became the Grand Slam, it was a similar feel to a Grand Slam. We managed to get a pretty soft draw, qualify A-side, and we were rewarded with Kevin Martin coming out of the C, knocking us out of the Spiel and going on to win that event. One of 7 in a row he won that year with his team of Don Walchuk, Carter Rycroft, and Don Bartlett. Still one of the greatest teams of all time.
Come on, guys. Quicken up the pace here.
This is painful. We're trying to add some additional coverage, but might be better contacting Mark and seeing if he can send in one of his DVDs, A Little House on the Prairie.
Let it rip. Let it rip.
Little inside joke there for our fans. Lawrence, it's going to be real hard to be good if we're subjected to these breaks in play. I've just got too much time to talk and too much going on in my mind.
We are reaching the 2-hour mark, halfway through the 7th end here.
I think at the end of 2 hours, that's it. Shut it down. Start handing out some penalties like they do in golf for slow play. We really need to do something. Nice little double take out there for Team Shadow. They now lie 2, looking to force Schlender to 1 or steal this end.
Aaron Sluchinski with the double there.
Actually,
Aaron throws third stones for Team Schlender.
Totally butchered that call, but had fallen asleep just briefly.
Well, both skips in the house are wearing black, so it's hard to tell them apart.
Got to be careful commenting on things like that, Jared. We learned last night you can be accused of being things that you're not.
Must be cold out there. The skip is bundled up.
We overheard Kevin Martin, and he's not a real fan of it being that cold because he's had some back tightness, but he said it was freezing out there today. Nice brisk day out here in Brooks, Alberta. Beautiful weather.
Yeah, the two young brothers here on Team Schlender, the Sluchinskis, Aaron and Justin, They made a good run in the Alberta Provincials last season. I believe they qualified through the B side and played the 1-2 game, lost the 1-2, and the semifinal, finished third place in Alberta, which is a feat in itself.
Yeah, it's a great showing in a very, very tough and deep province like Alberta. That final was won by Kevin Martin over Kevin Cooey, and one of the most hard fought. Like as a curling fan watching that game, you're almost nervous for the players. It was a nail biter. Came down to last rock in the extra end. A nice little soft out turn tap, but they went end to end on. Benny and Mark able to hold the Stones line for the victory for Kevin.
That game was exceptional, and it's always amazing watching those two teams play with something like that on the line. And I was actually in the United States at the U.S. Nationals at that point. I had my sling box hooked up at home, and I could watch the game from home, and had a whole crowd of people around me watching the game.
Oh, absolutely. I watched that game live. Rogers did a great job last year, Sportsnet, of broadcasting some of the provincial finals. If you're listening, I'd like to do some coverage on those games this year. But it was very unique to see those two teams play in a provincial final. We've seen them battle on the cash circuit, but Kevin Martin was not in the 2010 provincials. He was at the Olympics, and Kevin won that one. And then in 2011, Kevin came back and won. But it was the first time we got to see them play with a provincial title on the line, something you obviously only do once a year. And congratulations to Sportsnet for covering it. And that was one of the best games I've ever seen.
That was actually the first time Cooey, sorry, I was thinking of something else there. Martin Cooey, where they played and they really battled down at the end. I thought that was going to be Cooey's year to take that title from Martin.
Yeah, he'd certainly had the better Cashbill season. Kevin had a very down year for their standards last year, and Kevin was exceptional. But the old Bear still got a few tricks. It reminded me of a lot of the battles started to happen in Ontario right around 1998 with the Wernick team and the Howard brothers, which later included Wayne Madaw and Pete Corner on that team. Some would say one of, if not the best team of all time. I would personally put Kevin Martin's team with Benny, Mark, and John there. But that team with Glenn playing third for his brother Russ, who's recently inducted in the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame, was probably in the conversation of being one of the best teams of all time. They had legendary battles throughout Ontario. I believe they represented Ontario. One of the two of them did in 1981, 83, 84, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 97, and then Wayne Madaw won in 1998. What's happening in our game here, Jerry? I haven't really been paying any attention to it.
Shot being delivered. That's a good start here. Looking for the little hit and I think he's trying to play the little hit and roll underneath the guard there. That wasn't a lot of weight to actually play for a double.
No, I think he was. I agree with you. And actually, had he executed the roll, he probably gets a double as a bonus. But instead, he unfortunately rolled out. He's going to leave Rob an opportunity to split the rings and score a two and take a 2-point lead home in this very exciting battle.
For Liu, I think that was a good strategical call because you had to keep the shooter in play. They have to put points on the board here, whether they steal one, whether Schlender gets one. You can't, he could have come down, thrown big weight, made the double. He would have lost his shooter, and then Schlender would have stepped up and peeled that center guard or that corner guard. Yeah,
I think it was the right call. Just a little off on the execution. Mark Nichols, great comment. I hope for your sake the game doesn't go extras. Winner will miss the C final. Gotta agree with you there, Mark.
You missed some of my good commentary before you came back.
Granite City Dave, probably not allowed to read your tweet out over the air, which doesn't necessarily mean I disagree with it.
You were away, and the Chinese lead took about 3 minutes to throw the first stone at the end.
Just trying to decide what turn.
I don't know. They are definitely very deliberate in the hack. This Chinese team, along with the two Korean teams here, very, very good technically. They throw a great stone. I think sometimes where teams can get them is on a little bit of the strategy and tactics out on the ice. But these young teams are coming along and definitely making up ground on the tour.
Just got a little text there from E.J. Harnan. Again, can't really get into the content of it too much. Just asking about the relationship of a couple curlers out on the tour there. I do agree that the young lady in question is a rocket. What happened here, Jerry?
Made the double.
Great double kill there. Getting some feedback from the ice there. Rob looking to blank the end here, bring the hammer home. Would have probably preferred to score 2.
Last stone here, the 7th end. Schlender looking for the hit and roll out.
The action continues.
The good news is this will probably mean no extra end.
The really good news is even if there is one, we will not be covering it.
Let's do a quick check of the scoreboards. Action Dan. SouthernAlberta.com. A little too far over there. Nobody's on the outside sheets on this draw. Sheet 2, Cooey up 4-3 on Murdoch. Cooey with the hammer playing 7. Feature game, Kevin Martin 7-2 winners over Clark. And then over here we've got Andrew Bolesky up 6-4. The young Eskilston team just out of juniors is making a bit of a push here. 2 in the 5th, a steal of 1 in the 6th. And our feature after the feature, Schlender 5, Lou 5. Schlender with the hammer here in the 8th end.
Dexon Ba, would that be close to the right pronunciation?
I believe so.
We could also go with Team China lead stone. Gotten the hack through that one a little quicker. Thank God. We allowed to say God on the air?
Probably. You're praising him.
Looks like instead of opting to play the tick shot here, Rob's going to play the straight come around. Seems almost all of the elite teams now are going to that tick shot. I never really was in a position to play it. We were usually losing our games coming down to the lost end, so we're the ones throwing up the guards. Had an opportunity last year to throw the tick shot against Team Stoughton in the A qualifier.
Did you make Mark Nichols proud?
Had I not fallen down, I think it would have been closer.
Closer.
No, I just probably threw it a hair soft. I did punch their rock into the rings and roll the shooter off the center line, but I would have only given myself maybe a 2 out of 4. A lot of pressure was on Mark in that game, having to do battle with really an absolute washed-up has-been. Nothing to gain there for Mark, being the Olympic champion. Sort of sandbagging, I think, Jerry, throwing the lead stones now, taking the easy way out. A lot of pressure on him. So much pressure, actually, that Team Cooey basically bowed out of that event. Thiessen was way too afraid to go head-to-head. He was just hogging rocks in his game against Gushu. Not making fun of him, people, merely telling the truth. We're going to have coverage of Nolan possibly in our next game if they can hold on to their lead they currently have against Dave Murdoch. Just checking out a pic of Bar Raffelli on Twitter. For those of you who don't follow her, you should. A lot of insightful commentary at a bar, usually communicated through pictures. Makes for easier reading. Got an out-turn something coming down the ice here.
Dylan Webster, lead stones for Team Schlender.
From Sundre, Alberta. I don't know where that is, but I assume it's close to Edmonton.
Rob Schlender's definitely one of the characters of the game. Really enjoy having a chat with Rob anytime see him on tour. If you go and do a search on YouTube and look up the Far From Home Team Schlender. They were in the Grand Slam in Kingston a couple years ago, and the team got the opportunity to go curl at the Looney Curling Club, a one-sheet club that Alex McKinney built on his dairy farm.
Oh, yeah.
Just outside of Kingston. And
didn't Greg Ballston's team represent that club in the provincials one year?
Yeah, Greg Ballston and Lisa Farnell's team, they represent the Looney Curling Club. And it's a really cool little club. He's built up a nice facility there. And be sure to check out that video. Just do a search Far From Home Schlender on YouTube, and you should be able to track it down.
A question from one of our viewers looking for a score update in the Cooey game. They don't have access to the internet right now for some reason. And the Bolesky game as well. Rob looking to kill as many red stones as possible here with this outturn peel. Nice looking shot. Great stone there, actually. Removed 3 stones, really cleaned up the front, and great shot there by second stone for Rob Schlender, Justin Sluchinski. Score update, sir? Cooey? Cooey winning?
Oh, we had Cooey up 4-3 without Hammer playing 7. And Bolesky was up 6-4 playing 7 with Hammer.
So it looks like Bolesky is going to win that game. No choice here for Team China but to throw up a center guard. Hope for a miss out of Rob's team. It was a great shot that Justin just threw there. Not sure if it was by design to guard the red rock. Doesn't really matter. Rob's going to peel it off either way. Looks like the Cooey game is now in the 8th end.
Thing is, we're making fun of these guys for being slow, but there's 2 other games still out on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, some of it comes down to, as you know, Jerry, the teams practice for the Hammer, and I heard there was an incident last weekend in Portage where a team took 18 minutes to practice, which is basically double the limit of a CCA or an OCA event. Yeah, it would never happen on your watch, I know, Jer, but maybe that can account for some of the disparity in game times.
I do believe, though, here we started on time across the board.
Yeah, I was just trying to help the teams out there. I've been asked to be nicer. Craig Saville posting a tweet. I don't find it interesting, so I'm not going to read it. If you do follow Craig, at Craig Saville, You can read it yourself. Da, 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 do. China going to throw another center guard here. Still looking for a miss out of the Schlender team. That is a name I'm not going to tackle there. Going to go with Mr. Zhang, third stone for China.
Ji Liang Zhang.
I think, yeah, you did pretty well there, Joe. Out of Harbin, China. Not very good in geography, so I'm not sure where that is in relation to anywhere else.
I believe Harbin is in the northeast corner of the country.
Sounds like you're making that up, but we'll go with it. You're going to have to get me some of your geography stats, grades from high school, if I'm going to believe such a thing, or bring a globe in.
It gets brutally cold there in the wintertime. Probably a similar climate to Alberta.
Really? Simple out-turn peel here.
I come from Ontario. We're soft. We're lucky we don't get these minus 30s.
No, I'm not a big fan of the minus 30. I lived in Ottawa for a couple of years, and they can certainly get those temperatures from time to time. And I was only tough enough to last for 2.5 years. Plus, I lost my job, and they asked me to leave the city. Something I don't like to talk about. What time is our next broadcast?
It'll be 3:30 Mountain Time, 5:30 Eastern.
It's going to feel like back-to-back if they don't get going here. China just utilizing their 14th time out of the game here. Probably have one more left, seeing that they have 2 stones left.
Like, to be honest, it's not a real complicated situation. There's only a couple of options, and you knew what they were going to be.
Yeah, you knew the peels were going to be made. This is where we see teams at the elite level that have played under time clock conditions. Kui was a great example of it in an earlier broadcast. I mean, they know the out-turn peel is going to be made. Once it's made, they've already made their decision of what shot they're going to play. The only real discussion would be, had Schlender's team missed the peel, now your plan has to change a bit because it's something you didn't necessarily expect, but you'd probably talk about that option as well. There's certainly enough time to do so. Hope it doesn't sound like we're picking on these guys, but really, if they're in a situation, which they will be, representing their country, they will play with time clocks, and they're going to have to pick up the pace a little bit here.
It's even a great advice for club teams back home, and you know, you see it happen. Everybody, you know, you play that 2-hour limit. The bell goes 10 minutes before the top of the hour, and you see it happen all the time. Games only go 6 or 7 ends, and you know, play ready curling. There's a couple things you can do. The lead, you know, when the end is over, the lead's job is to go find his or her one rock, not be involved in cleaning up stones, and go get in the hack and be ready to throw as soon as everything's put away.
Absolutely.
And then same thing as what you were talking about here is, you know, you have an expectation of what they're going to do when the shot is being thrown, and generally they make the shot, and then from there you should already know what you're going to call.
This is a slightly more complicated situation because Rob does have a couple of options. I'd be surprised to not see him try to blast that red rock out of there, even if he's to lose obviously his back one and his shooter. He's still in a pretty good position to score his one and get the victory.
You know what? I think you throw it real hard. You try and pick the. You're trying to catch the red one on the top of the forefoot there, but if you ever hang it out a hair, and you feather off the top red one, you probably get everything.
Yeah, including the shooter probably spinning out the side, and you'd have wide open rings, and then We'd have probably a 3.5 minute discussion on where to for China to put their open stone.
I don't think you call the slash here. I think you got to make a play in the middle because you never want to nut this in there or even flash it on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, to properly take an attempt at it, you are bringing the flash into play for sure. Speaking of flash, out with, is it Colton flashed last night?
Colton.
Little arm wrestling competition between him and Johnny Moe. Johnny just got mopped up right-handed, but he did split it, winning a hard-fought left-handed battle. But the boys on tour said Colton would be the #1 ranked arm wrestler. He took down the Harnden brothers last year, Ryan Fry. I'd like to see maybe Sebastian Kropp get in that mix, and then the rhinoceros there, Alan Lyburn, is supposed to be an excellent arm wrestler, and they feel him and Colton would be a great battle. Maybe we can arrange that in the patch tonight for charity.
Oh, this thing over curls.
Yeah, it's not what he was looking for there at all. The real key was to clear the path to the button. Unfortunately for Rob, he was not able to do that, and now this could take this could take a while.
This is easy. Pop that yellow one on the nose. Maybe a hair roll to the left-hand side on the screen.
There it is. He's on it. Go with that. Go with your first thought.
Now the broom goes on the ice for the ice line call.
Can you hear me now? He had it, Jerry. He made the call. Go with that instinct. We've now called it 4 times. Getting very tough up here, Lawrence. Very tough. We'll go back to Twitter. Arvel Sabin. Hopefully I pronounced that right, but I have a feeling I probably didn't. Has this team China ever run out of time in a timed tour event? Hashtag painful to watch. Hashtag announcers keeping me watching.
Arvel, I told this story earlier. You might have missed it or maybe just joined us.
Or fallen asleep.
Yeah. Team China, this team, but most of the players, they played in 2009 at the World Cup of Curling, and they ran out of time in the 7th end.
Of a 10-end game?
8-end game.
8-end game. Katarina had a game at her club on Wednesday night where the club team only played 5 ends in 2 hours. Hashtag club curling at its finest. Yeah, you know what, people? The game is meant to be played at a quicker pace because then you have more time to enjoy your time off the ice, which has always been my strongest suit in curling, I believe. Certainly wasn't my play. You don't need to comment on that, Jerry. We decided, I believe, to go with the shot Jerry called 4 minutes and 47 seconds ago. Soft out turn hit here. If executed by Team China, they will have Rob in a lot of trouble. Looks pretty good coming down here. They're sweeping hard to try to hold the line.
Want to hit nose or just that's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
That's a great shot. The execution looks good. I mean, I played a few of the Chinese teams in the past, and technically they're very well prepared throwers of the stone. In my experience, we played that team Wang from China a couple times. And they were always technically excellent shooters. And to be honest, they probably played at a much quicker pace than what we're seeing today. Rob still has the opportunity. He can see all of that stone plus a little bit of air, and I believe a nose hit will be good enough.
Nose hit is good. Last stone of the 8th end here. Last stone of the game.
Don't like to see the brushes up here. Still needs a curl of hair. Looks pretty good.
Looks good.
Nice shot, Rob. Good win.
Schlender wins 6-5. Do a quick update. Looks like Bolesky's team's walking off the ice there. And I believe just flash over to the Cooey game a little bit too. It looks like we are finished. Gotta go the other way, I believe. I'm just curious if Cooey's still on the ice or not. And it looks like they're wrapped up as well.
Big score, 2 for Kevin in the 7th end to go up 6-3 coming home. Can only assume that he ran Team Murdoch out of rocks, and he will be our feature game this afternoon.
Yeah, Cooey will play Schlender at 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time. For Pete Stetsky, Dan Berdusco of SouthernAlberta.com. My name's Jerry Gertz of CurlingZone.com. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. We'll be back at 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time with Kevin Cooey, Rob Schlender. Until then, everyone, take care.